Imagine pulling up to your childhood home after months away, key in hand, ready to grieve your dad's passing in peace, only to find a stranger inside, redecorating like it's her personal HGTV episode, and the air reeks of fake lemon freshness instead of memories. That's exactly what slammed into me like a freight train when I arrived at 12 Maple Lane in quiet suburbia, USA. But oh, this wasn't just any intruder. This was Karen Vanderson, the HOA president, armed with bylaws and a smile sharper than a lawyer's bill. I stood there on the porch, my hand frozen on the doorknob, inhaling that assault on my nostrils. Dad's place had always smelled like fresh-cut grass from his obsessive mowing, mixed with the faint whiff of his barbecue grill that he'd fire up every Sunday. Now, it was all chemical citrus and artificial lavender, like someone had power-washed the soul right out of the walls. I twisted the key, my key, and pushed open the door, expecting the familiar creak. Instead, silence greeted me, broken only by the clatter of workmen inside. The living room looked like a showroom for soulless minimalism. Dad's beat-up recliner, the one with the permanent dent from his naps after yard work, was vanished. In its spot sat a pristine beige sectional that screamed, "Don't sit on me unless you're wearing plastic covers." The shelves, once crammed with his collection of old baseball cards and DIY manuals, now held color-coordinated vases and knickknacks that probably came from some bulk order catalog. And there she was, directing traffic like a traffic cop at a funeral, tall, impeccably coiffed, in a pantsuit that probably cost more than my car payment. Karen Vanderson, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other, barking orders at two guys hanging a generic landscape print where Dad's family photos used to be. "A tad higher on the left," she snapped, her voice all honeyed efficiency with an undercurrent of steel. "We need it to align perfectly with the covenant's aesthetic guidelines. Property values don't maintain themselves. You know, my blood boiled. This was supposed to be my refuge, the one spot in Pine Ridge Estates where I could sort through Dad's things after his accident. That suspicious car crash the cops brushed off as bad luck. I'd been away dealing with the fallout, rumors swirling about me being some unstable son who'd abandoned him. Neighbors whispered I was dodging inheritance taxes or hiding from debts. I ignored it all, biting my tongue, watching from afar via occasional drive-bys. But now, this violation hit different. "Who the hell are you? And what are you doing in my dad's house?" I demanded, my voice steady but laced with the rage I'd been bottling up. She turned slowly, like a villain in a bad movie, her eyes scanning me from head to toe with that fake sympathy HOA types love to wield. No shock, no apology, just a tilt of her head and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, Mr. Harlan, Ryan Harlan. Correct, you're earlier than we expected. I'm Karen Vanderson, president of the Pine Ridge Homeowners Association. And this isn't your dad's house anymore. It's an asset under HOA management, per Section 4.2 of the bylaws. Vacant properties must be optimized to uphold community standards." "Optimized? Bylaws?" I echoed, stepping closer, my fists clenching. "This land's been in my family for generations. Dad owned it outright, no HOA nonsense. Get out before I call the cops." Her laugh was light, almost musical, but it dripped with condescension. "My dear, every neighborhood has standards. Pine Ridge voted in the covenant last year, unanimously, I might add, to prevent blight. Your father's place sat empty for 6 months. We stepped in to maintain curb appeal. Think of it as community service." She waved a manicured hand at the workers. We're just freshening it up for potential buyers. Property values have dipped 2% because of neglected yards like this one. I felt the ground shift. This woman was twisting reality like it was her day job. And the worst part? She pulled out her phone, dialed with theatrical calm, and put on a show that would make Oscar winners jealous. 911? Yes. Hello, she whimpered, her voice suddenly quivering like a damsel in a soap opera. This is Karen Vanderson at 12 Maple Lane. There's a man here, he burst in, yelling threats. He seems unstable, perhaps grieving his late father. I'm scared he might get violent. I stood there, jaw slack, as she painted me as the intruder in my own home. Using Dad's death against me? Low blow, even for a power-hungry busybody. 10 minutes later, Officer Daniels pulled up. Good old Daniels, who'd barbecued with Dad back in the day. But today, he sauntered in with that official nod to Karen, like she was the mayor. "Ma'am," he said to her, then turned to me with weary eyes. "Ryan, what's the story, Ms. Vanderson says you're trespassing." "Trespassing? This is my house," I protested, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. "She's the one squatting here with her fake rules." Karen fluttered forward, clutching a binder bursting with papers. "Officer," I sympathize with his emotional state. Grief can cloud judgment. But per HOA bylaws, vacant homes fall under association oversight to avoid devaluing the neighborhood. Here's the documentation. Signatures from the board, notarized and everything. Daniels skimmed the papers, his face hardening. "Looks legit, Ryan. This seems civil. For now, you gotta leave sorted in court." "Leave my own home?" I spat, but he was already guiding me out, his hand on my shoulder like I was the criminal. As the door shut, I caught Karen's gaze through the window, blank, satisfied, like she'd just won bingo at the community center. Exile in suburbia hits different when it's your own driveway staring back accusingly. I drove to the edge of town, checking into the Shady Oak Motel, a dump that smelled like regret and cheap air freshener. Collapsing on the bed, I replayed it all. Her fake tears, Daniel's shrug. This wasn't her first rodeo. How many folks had she bullied with her standards? Sleep evaded me. Instead, I stared at the ceiling, plotting. Morning brought a nasty surprise. My tire slashed clean, a deliberate cut screaming, "Back off." They were watching. Paranoia set in. This wasn't just about a house. It was personal. Lawyers? They drowned me in fees. I needed dirt. That's when I remembered Mrs. Kowalski, the neighborhood watchdog 2 doors down. Dad called her the Silent Sentinel, a retired librarian who'd seen it all, sipping tea on her porch, noting every infraction without a word. Her house was fortress-like, curtains drawn, yard pristine but prickly with no soliciting signs. It took persistent knocking for her to crack the door, one eye peering out suspiciously. "What do you want?" she rasped. "Mrs. Kowalski, it's Ryan, Jim Harlan's son. Please, I need to talk about Dad and the house." Recognition flickered, then fear. She tried slamming the door, but I pleaded. "They kicked me out. Karen Vanderson's in there, gutting it. And my tire. They slashed it. I think they hurt Dad." The door eased open. She scanned the street like a spy thriller extra, then yanked me inside. Her place was cozy chaos. Books everywhere, the scent of herbal tea cutting through tension. She poured us cups, hands shaking. "Your dad was no pushover," she whispered. "Not just a retiree tinkering in the garage. Back in the day, he was a whistleblower, exposed shady deals in the city. He saw Vanderson's game, using HOA rules to force sales, laundering funds through fines and upgrades. She targets empty homes, slaps on violations, drives owners out." My mind raced. Dad's late nights poring over papers weren't hobbies. They were investigations. "He had proof," she nodded. "A ledger and flash drive, hidden in the house. Fireproof, thief-proof. He said it linked her to big money crooks." That accident? No coincidence. Rage solidified. Karen wasn't just a nosy neighbor. She was erasing evidence. My mission: retrieve it, finish Dad's fight. Leaving Kowalski's, I felt armored. But first, test the system. From a payphone, paranoid much, I called a lawyer. "HOA overreach? We'll file, but it'll take time. Vanderson's got pull. No good." Then I met Jake, a tech whiz from the neighborhood watch group, griping about HOA fines for his drone hobby. "She's a control freak," he said over coffee. "Find me for unauthorized surveillance, but I can help drones, earpieces, scout her setup." We planned. Sneak in via basement during a storm, grab the goods from Dad's hidden safe behind the fireplace. Jake's intel seemed solid: cameras, guards, but blind spots. Betrayal hit like a gut punch. Testing Jake's drone feed in the motel, I spotted him chatting with Karen's goon, laughing. He'd sold me out. Every detail I'd shared, handed over. Despair clawed, but fury won. Screw the plan, I'd go rogue. The storm raged. Perfect cover. I hiked through backyards, avoiding floodlights, heart pounding. Climbing the old oak to Dad's balcony, childhood treehouse route, nearly killed me, slick bark and wind whipping. Inside, voices downstairs. Karen and her muscle, Kovacs. "He's coming," she sneered. Sentimental fools always do. I ghosted down, hiding in the coat closet as Kovacs lumbered by. They tapped walls, clueless. I darted to the fireplace, triggered the secret panel, Dad's combo. My birthday. Ledger and drive in hand. "Thanks, Ryan," Karen purred behind me. Trapped. Kovacs lunged. I shoved a chair, then kicked Dad's antique bear trap rusty decor into his path. Snap! His scream echoed. I bolted, crashing through a window into rain. Evidence clutched. 4 hours to the city, straight to the FBI. Skeptical agents turned believers at the ledger's offshore accounts and drives dirt money laundering. Bribes, even ties to Dad's crash. 2 days later, from a ridge, I watched the raid. SUVs swarming, doors battered. Jake cuffed, pale. Kovacs hobbling. Karen disheveled, mask cracked, just a petty tyrant exposed. A week on, porch peaceful, photo of Dad and me in hand. Victory sweet. Then the text, "You should have taken the fine," roots deeper. But was the HOA the real villain? Or just a symptom, in suburbia? Who really pulls the strings? Nosy neighbors, or the system letting them?